Hello everybody, in this video I'm going to talk about the differences between ITIL version 3 and ITIL version 4. I hope this video will be informative for you. Let's take a quick look at ITIL version 3. In ITIL version 3 we have service life cycle. At the middle of the service life cycle is service strategy, which is talking about the long-term view of the service, talking about the policy of the service and such processes such as financial management, demand management, portfolio management, and so on is talking about in this stage. After this stage, we have service design, which is talking about how we can design a service to meet the customer's expectation. Some processes such as availability management, capacity management, security management, uh, service level management, and so on is talking about in this stage. After service design, we have service transition. So after designing a service, we have to build it. We have to test it in a pilot environment. So in service transition, we have some processes such as release management, such as configuration management, change management, and so on. And after this stage, we have service operation and live environment. After testing in service transition, we go to service operation and some processes such as event management, incident management, problem management, and such. These processes we in service operation we're going to talk about it. And after all, we have continual service improvement, which is talking about how we can improve the service at all these stages, which is rely on dynamic PDCA cycle, and how to improve the service in all in stages we're talking about in this stage, continual service improvement, which is a 7-step processes in ITIL version 3. So when we look at this picture, uh, it seems that in ITIL version 3 we have sequential processes. The service, at first we have to uh, service strategy, then goes to service design, then goes to service transition. It seems uh, it's working on a sequential process. Of course, all these phases are interconnected together, but the predominant approach is sequential. So let's go to ITIL version 4. In ITIL version 4, there is no service lifecycle. We have new definition, service value system, SVS. So in this picture, you can see that some component added to ITIL version 4, such as guiding principles, governance, service value chain, and some practices and continual improvement. Maybe the continual improvement is the only component which we had in ITIL version 3, but the other components are new. So in this picture, service value system, we have input, goes to this system and transform the input to output via service value chain. Transformation is done in this step and goes to output, which is value to customers. So in this version, we have systematic view, which is input, output, and transformation. And we do not have a sequential such as service design transition. In this version, we have systematic view. Maybe this is the uh, This is the first difference, systematic view. The second difference, some component added, such as guiding principles. When we are reading these guiding principles, it persuades us to work agile approach, make it simple, think holistically, collaboration. All these items, which is talking about in guiding principles, shows that in ITIL version 4 we have agile approach. So this is the second difference. So we have governance here. So although we have in ITIL version 3 we had service policy and service strategy, but here we have a component governance, evaluate, direct, monitor here. Evaluate, direct, monitor in governance, which governs all the systems. So this is the second difference. The governance is important here. So we did not have in ITIL version 3, and um, we have service value chain. I'm talking about it later. So let's go to practice. In practice, in ITIL version 3, we had processes, but here we have practice. What are the differences between process and practice? I'm going to talk about it here in this video. And continual service improvement, which is similar to uh, ITIL version 3. So in ITIL version 4, a 4 dimension added to this service management. One is organization and people, 2 information and technology, 3 partner and supplier, and 4 value stream and process. By adding these approaches, by adding these 4 dimensions, we have a holistic view. Holistic view in ITIL version 4, which is the other differences between ITIL version 3 and ITIL version 4. Because when you want to design and implement a service, you have to consider some dimensions such as organizations and people, uh, information and technology, what information and technology needed for designing and implementing a service, what's the characteristic of the organizations and people. uh, we have to consider partners and suppliers and processes. So by adding these component, we have a holistic view in ITIL version 4, and there are some factors which is outside our hands, such as environmental factors, political factors, economic factors, and so on, are added to these ITIL. So here you can see the most important holistic view which is added in ITIL version 4. So let's go to service value. Here is guiding principles, which is guiding principles, the recommendation. As I told you, recommendation, and there are some recommendations in this ITIL, which is persuade you to go to agile approach. So we have governance. As I told you, we have governance, which is evaluated, direct, and monitor, and we have service value chain. At the core of service value system, we have service value chain, which is systematic view. There is input, output, some transformation is done here, and after demand is collected by engaging process, engaging step, and engaging go to designing, planning, and after designing and planning, of course all these components are working together and interaction together because it's a systematic view. It differs from ITIL version 3. In ITIL version 3 we have sequential approach, which at first we have to design, then goes to transition, then goes to operation. But in this view you can see that there is no sequential. All these components are uh, interacting with each other. That's why this is called systematic view. This is called systemic view. But in ITI version 3 we had a sequential or such as waterfall approach. In ITIL version 4 we have systematic view. So as you can see in this picture, we although we have planning, designing, building and delivering and support and operational, but all these approaches are interacting together. So we have in ITIL version 4 34 practices. In ITI version 3 we had 26 processes, but here we have practices. What are the differences between process and practice? The process, of course, you can see here, the process is the practice is a set of organizational resources. When we're talking about resource, it is process plus resources such as people, organization, and so on. But in process we have just interrelated activity. So you can see that uh, practice is wider definition from a process, and that's why in ITIL version 4 we have a wider definition. Practice is processes replaced by practices here. And practices is categorized in three part: general management practices, service management practices, and technical management practices. So if I want to conclude the differences between ITIL version 3 and ITIL version 4, we can conclude that ITIL version 3 is a traditional sequential approach, but in ITIL version 3 we have systematic approach. This is the first difference. The second difference, ITIL version 4 is a holistic approach. By adding four dimension, people, organization, information technology, and so on. This is the second difference. The third difference, in ITIL version 4 we have uh, agility approach. By some guidelines help you to go to agility approach. And in this is the third difference. The fourth difference, we have governance here. uh, the fifth difference is we have practice here, but in ITIL version 4 version 3 we have process. We have practice here in ITIL for governance, in ITIL version 3 in service strategy. We are talking about the strategy of the service, but the governance we have in ITIL version 3. In ITIL version 3 traditional approach, and this is the difference between ITIL version 3 and ITIL version 4. I hope this video will be informative for you. Thank you for watching.